is 8-month-old Lev. As with all babies, he puts everything in his mouth. What Lev doesn't know is that nowadays, many of the things he chews on and even the air he breathes at home might contain high levels of toxic chemicals with adverse effects on his health. Rachel Gibson is Lev's mom and the Chemicals Policy Director at Healthcare Without Harm, an international coalition of hospitals and healthcare systems.
This right here is one of my son's new favorites. And it makes noise and it has great lights, but I don't know what's in the plastic, quite honestly. Nice dog. Here, bud. He loves this thing.
Rachel is concerned about chemicals known as phthalates, commonly used to soften plastics and found in children's toys, cosmetics, and vinyl floors. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission has banned 3 phthalates from some children's toys. Scientists say phthalates are endocrine disruptors and can cause cancer and damage the reproductive system.
For the most part, we're talking about long-term consequences.
Richard Dennison is senior scientist at the Environmental Defense Fund, an organization focused on science and research.
Unfortunately, we know that these chemicals are able to disrupt the early development of people. Babies come into the world already carrying a burden of chemical exposure from day one that they got from their mothers.
The Toy Industry Association says there is no need for concern. Stacy Leisner is the association's spokesperson.
We have very strict regulations for all toys that are sold in the U.S., regardless of where they are from. And we're confident, again, that toys on the shelves now are safer than ever before.
34 years have passed since the United States first regulated the use of toxic substances. Since then, more than 80,000 chemicals have entered the market without testing or regulation. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has been able to regulate only 5. Lisa Jackson heads the EPA.
The story is clear. We've only been able to effectively regulate a handful of chemicals, and we know very little about the rest.
Recently, the organization known as HealthyStaff.org tested 1,000 fluorine samples and 2,000 wallpapers in search of toxic chemicals. It found alarming levels of lead, phthalates, and PVCs. The group suggested safe alternatives like linoleum, cork, bamboo, and hardwood. The list of chemicals that scientists say contain harmful substances is long, from fire retardants in mattresses and furniture, banned in many countries, to Teflon that has long been associated with cancer.
Today, in the United States, about 250 pounds of chemicals per person per day are produced and used. So just imagine walking around with a backpack on your back that weighs 250 pounds and then replacing it every single day.
Although there is a partial ban on phthalates in the U.S., Dennison says many chemicals, including phthalates, have already caused extensive damage.
Every one of us carries measurable levels of these chemicals in our bodies. They contaminate our soil, our food supply, and our water. And this decades after they were banned.
On Capitol Hill, there are new efforts to control toxic chemicals, but experts say the battle will be long and difficult. This is Zulima Palacio, VOA News.